Why would I be so passionate to bring this to you, to the world? Why aren't I one of the people who are going to defer this for the future, going to wait to perhaps retire and to do this? It comes from a huge feeling of responsibility that came to me when I was 18. My father was 60 years old and 3 days, and I was coaching tennis. Very tragically on that day, at that time, Dad came out and he was having his lesson with me and he died of a heart attack in front of me with no warning. And so from quite an early age, I realized that this is just not something to take for granted. Life is there to be cherished and you just got to maximize your life. So this sense of responsibility has really, it came to me at an early age and has been with me ever since. And that's why I feel that for the last 35 plus years, I have done everything I can to work with people to make sure that they appreciate life and to make sure that they're doing it for themselves. Fast forward to my 37th birthday, my wife, my two small children, my son was 14 and my daughter was 8. We started young because I'm not going to wait around, life is short. And we had relocated to Cape Town. We'd be there for less than a month. I'd gone there to take the job at an amazing country club there, based on some outreach programs that I was looking to do in the community. Lisbeth, my wife, is an artist. The kids were going to school there. It was a really exciting opportunity. We'd been living in Spain, and we felt this was the next process or progress in our plan. What occurred on my 37th birthday was that I was admitted to one of the amazing cancer hospitals in Cape Town. And for the next 2 years, I was in a massive fight for my life. A full-time athlete, incredibly healthy, felt very, very much that I had done everything up to date that I should do. And I was pretty bitter about this. But the South Africans have a phrase that became instrumental to my family, and that is make a plan. And from that minute, as we had done before, we needed to make a plan. And though Lisbeth on a couple of occasions was asked to say goodbye to me, it became even more of a, 17, 18 years later than the first episode that made me take responsibility. This was just another tap to say, maybe I need to accelerate my learnings, my purpose, because when I get out of this hospital, I am going to make sure that there is nobody I come into contact with who isn't living life on their terms, because it's too finite and it's too fantastic as well. It's abundant, but we need to make that for ourselves. 60 Summers comes about because of an epiphany I had recently on my 50th birthday, or around my 50th birthday, when I worked out that I've only got 30 good summers left. Now, summer's an important thing to me, and the idea of only 30 good summers left was incredibly limiting. And so I called out to my wife, mentioned this to her. She said, that's just crap. We've got to do something about that. I sort of agreed, wasn't quite sure what I could do. And we took the dogs for a walk. And by the end of it, we had both sort of looked each other in the eye and said, hang on a sec. For a number of years, we lived in South Africa. Why can't we go back there, do our outreach that we've done before, give back, but stipulating that any business that we start from now on, anything we're involved in, has got to allow us to spend 3 or 4 months in the Southern Hemisphere and the rest of the time in the UK in the summer, therefore doubling our summers. I think this is genius, but it's also why I call it 60 Summers. And as I was putting this together, a journalist I was speaking to, sounding out about this idea, had actually presumed that 60 summers meant that her daughter, who was 20, had to plan her 60 summers out. So it's not actually devoted to a midlife crisis, which I haven't had. I'm just optimizing my life. It actually could be relevant for anybody, because how often do we think of how many summers we have left? If my question was, how many summers have you got left, that instigated this massive plan, what question are you going to ask yourself? That's where we get to with the roadmap. That is what we're here to do, is to make sure that you have that much purpose from your passion, from your priorities to move forwards.